And we're back here at the News Forum. I'm your host, Tony Clement, for Boom and Bust. And our guests are the Honourable Gerry Ritz, former Minister of Agriculture under the Harper years, and Alison Sunstrum, who is the founder and CEO of CNSRV-X Inc. Wanted to talk about, because we did discuss this before the break, supply chains and how obviously they've been very out of whack and wonky during COVID. And I want to get your commentary on that, Alison Sunstrum, and maybe where the supply chain of the future is going to be. Could you comment on that, please?
So I was speaking at an event in the UK, and a 70-year-old farmer said, "We are 9 meals away from anarchy." In the UK, they produce about 70% of their food, and the rest is imported. And he was thinking deeply about just-in-time manufacturing. I don't think that we have that same problem in Canada, but we have to consider how we can build some resiliency, some support, and some future-proofing into our supply chains, particularly at the farm level and at the processing level. And Gerry mentioned something that's so important. It's our transportation infrastructure. We are reliant on our railroads. If we get to the point that we're producing more value-added products, maybe we'll be in a different position, but we are beholden to certain export trade and tariff policies. We really have to look at our supply chain across the board. I'm very optimistic, but I think that we have a number of challenges that we have to resolve.
Gerry Ritz, you also mentioned supply chain. Where do you see that going?
Well, I absolutely agree. And we do have to go to, beyond this hewers of wood and drawers of water attitude where everything goes to the U.S. or goes to somewhere else to be processed. All we need to do is take everything up one or more steps up that supply ladder, and the returns to Canada would be astronomical because we have that product. We will never run out of food in this country. The basics we've got, where we import are the pineapples and the coffee and the things that we just can't grow here. We do some in greenhouse, but not to the extent that we can offer it year round. And that's been the problem with some of the major buyers. The Costco's and the Walmarts love Canadian product on their bunk ends, but they want it all year long. And we just haven't been able to crack that nut yet, but it will be coming. There's a tremendous amount of work to be done on that value-added side, and we'll still need rail capacity to export that because it'll go out by container. They come in with products predominantly from China, Japan, Korea, and go back out again, most times empty. And they need to have product going out the other way to make it more viable. But then that starts to be competition for the bulk commodities, which are going to continue to move out. And there's just a tremendous amount of work to be done on the logistics side. And I haven't seen any of that being done in the last little while. We're not spending, there's billions of dollars gone in our infrastructure budgets, but what have they done? What have they built? I haven't seen it personally.
Gerry, I'm going to stay with you for the next question and then give Alison a chance. But we've been skirting around the big gorilla in the room, which is the change of administrations in the United States and some of the things that President Biden is already pursuing through executive order. Love to get your commentary on that. And that dovetails into the carbon pricing issue as well, because obviously the decision on Keystone sent a definite signal and chill in Canadian markets. Tell us your perspective on these things.
Well, the Americans are one of our biggest markets, but they're also one of our biggest competitors when we look at other markets like Japan, Europe, China, all of those. So it's a love-hate relationship, and it always will be. It doesn't matter who the administrators are down there. We faced a big hurdle when we were in government when they came out with that country of origin labeling, which really went after our beef and pork sectors and put them at a huge disadvantage. We actually I think we did the right things by taking them to task on that and bringing them to mind and actually making use of our allies in the United States that were facing those same criteria on the reverse side because they didn't have Canadian product to fill up their processing side. So there's things that could be done on Keystone that we're not doing that I think, Trudeau and Biden are joined at the hip when it comes to climate change over every other issue. And that's unfortunate because that's going to negatively affect agriculture and a number of other industries, so much more negatively than they're ever going to gain from it. We've got to start working on more of a North American attitude to have any kind of strength to push back on growing economies like China and India and so on. And that's what the new NAFTA 2.0 was supposed to do, but somehow we're not taking advantage or making our needs known in those corridors.
Alison Sunstrum, hold your thought. We're going to take our final break, but we'll be right back with you. Stay tuned.